What is up, homies? Welcome back to another trailer reaction from here is Reforged. We're watching the final trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu. This trailer came out right in the middle of CinemaCon. Jon Favreau did a really cool little presentation talking about the movie and some of the practical stuff that they've been doing with this film, and talked about the different formats. You know, this is getting a real 3D release, which is exciting for people like us because we love 3D so much. So for us, it's going to be really exciting to finally get to see a Star Wars movie in 3D for the first time in basically what, 10 years now almost.
Yeah, I guess 7 years since The Rise of Skywalker was released in 3D, and I saw the 3D trailer for Mando, the second trailer that they put out. It was so fun in 3D. Yeah, we're gonna be butts in seat for sure on opening day. But dude, I especially cannot wait to see this in 3D, man. That's the thing that's gonna be awesome about it.
And get a 3D Blu-ray release.
Ooh,
let's make that happen.
Nice. I guess now we have to beg the overlords at Sony for that one. So
yeah. I mean, it's been that way for a minute though. It seems like 3D's having a little bit of a resurgence after that CinemaCon. So let's just keep fingies crossed, dude.
Summer of 3D, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh man.
Oh, and the John Williams music? All right.
Of the Mandalorian bounty hunter and a child.
I only hunt Imperial war criminals. I'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
Nice.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor first.
We're protecting everything
What
the rebellion
armor? It's like a button he has.
It's a disc.
Zeb!
You're gonna need it.
Villains are so funny.
We need a professional.
Hang on.
Dang, okay.
What happens when you're not there to protect him?
You good?
Salud.
Whoa.
I'll be right behind you. Go.
Oh my god, their little Anzellan ship.
Oh, brother. Din is not making it out of this movie.
Then it will be his turn.
Monstrous.
Oh, what?
You
Okay.
will protect the young. And then the young. Protect the old.
Oh, brother, I'm gonna cry. Oh, man. When Din dies, dude, I'm gonna cry.
Oh wow, Zeb looks great.
Scared?
Yeah.
You should be.
Good job, baby.
This is the way.
Wonderful, really great.
That's a great trailer. I think that's my favorite one.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
Yeah, let me replay that sucker. It looks so fun.
Put it on loop, baby.
This is directed by Favreau, right? He just went in and directed the film. I think that the key to the success of The Mandalorian has been Grogu. We're not allowed to say Baby Yoda, but when Baby Yoda came out on the scene, it was magical. And the fact that he's a puppet, and the fact that this is a little piece of Star Wars that kids could really glom onto, also the adults at the time. It was just like really good for families. And I'm very happy that the story here seems to be about continuing that like father-son dynamic. Absolutely make families emotional when they go see this, dude. Make us emotional when we go see it, because I think that's like the best possible stuff that Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and Grogu can deliver to us in terms of like how deep can that story get. This is what it's about, that dynamic. It's about that relationship. Yeah. And all the rest of the stuff looks amazing.
Hector, you're also a sucker for a father-son story.
Yeah.
We know those are your absolute favorite stories of all time.
100%.
So this is already issuing. Yeah.
Hundo, dude. Oh my God.
Mandalorian
dies in lava and he goes like this in lava. I'm done, dude. I'm done. I don't know where you cry. No.
One thing I definitely notice about this, and obviously makes sense because it is a movie, there's probably more budget behind it. The sets look bigger. And even the
yes.
I'm pretty sure they use the volume, obviously, for some of this, because that's been sort of the revolutionary piece of tech that the Mandalorian sort of birthed or rebirthed, because it's a new take on front and rear screen projection. But and I think Favreau even talked about this, because they shot for IMAX, like the full 143 IMAX, the set pieces that they did build that are then supported by the LED volume, they had to make everything bigger. And I feel like you get a sense of that. Like, it doesn't feel like it's just for this. It's really big and expansive. And I like that. And I think if that is the next sort of evolution of what filming in an LED volume setting is, where we're now expanding the set outward and we're building more set pieces to support it. And then the LED part of it is kind of the far background, and it's mostly like blurred in camera, then great. Because I do think that layering, the more extensive layering that they can get, the more realistic it will feel, right? It's not all just going to feel like they composited in a bunch of CG stuff. And even some of the robots, and I know that he's talked about there are sequences in this movie that are going to have stop motion. I guess the point that I'm getting at is that it really feels like that this Star Wars movie, and it's not just this one exclusively, I think it's the previous that have come in the last 10 years too, they are really mixing every single piece of technology, old and new, to make it just feel like it is naturally a part of the Star Wars universe, and to make it feel like when audiences go see it, the old audience gets tingles jingles from stuff that they feel like touches taps into their childhood nostalgia. New fans have stuff that they've come accustomed to with the Mandalorian TV show and the other TV shows, but it still has that like classic Star Wars feel. Oh, we're on a ship, we're inside of a speeder or a cruiser or whatever. So I like that. I like the look and design of the movie from the 3 trailers. The only thing that's still a little thin is like, what is the actual story of this movie, other than this father-son adventure with Mando and Grogu? Like, listen, if that's what they're selling the audience on to get them in theaters, fine. I'm hoping that when we get to the theater and we sit down and watch it, we're kind of blown away by what the story ends up being, and we're really surprised.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, can I ask you about that, Adam? Because what's kind of like the best case scenario for you? Do you want this to be very connected and very lore heavy, and like firmly planting itself in the exact years of after the Battle of Yavin? This is what's happening in the galaxy. We're setting this up. We're setting that up. Or do you think it could be very removed from everything and trying to be like, hey, sorry we lost you with the last couple Star Wars movies. Come on back, everybody. Come on back. This one's really easy. It's real easy to keep track of stuff. You don't have to know anything. Just come on down.
I think it's a little bit of both, because I also wonder how much of this movie is going to pay off what's been set up in the previous 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, and how much of it is just going to be more standalone. At one point they were going to have a Rangers of the New Republic movie. Those elements kind of got merged into this, and because it is a post Return of the Jedi, post Death Star 2 Battle of Endor movie, it's 5-6 years removed. Yeah, what does that mean? Does that mean that some of the characters that have shown up in previous seasons will show up? I don't know.
Are
they
going to think, and I sort
Ford?
Did they pay him enough money to do the trick with Harrison Ford for him to pop up?
Or are they going to bring back Ahsoka and this de-age version of Luke Skywalker? Maybe. But I do think that the focus will obviously be primarily on these 2 characters, and then we'll get sprinkles of some supporting characters. And then you have the Hutts. Like, the Hutts are playing a big role. Jeremy Allen White is doing the voice of a Hutt character, and I think it's Jabba's son. So I think there's going to be some like gangster underground, stuff like that. But I don't exactly know what the plot is. But I don't feel like, for me, it needs to be lore heavy. I think I'm just a little bit more interested in what is the story going to do for the characters, and is this going to be the final outing for Din Djarin? And if that happens, what happens to baby Grogu or Grogu? Does he go back to the academy? Is he part of Luke's Jedi training? I don't know.
And then he gets killed by Kylo Ren, and we're back.
And we're over.
All done. I'm here for the adventure. I hate to say that plot comes secondary, because it doesn't, and it shouldn't, and the story should not come secondary, and it doesn't, and it won't. I am so sold on the father-son aspect of this couple, these 2 characters. I mean, they're a couple, couple of real winners. That I think that I'm here to see obviously this strong relationship, there's going to be strain on it in some way, shape, or form. I'm here to see what happens if they are broken apart. You know, what is Grogu going to do? How is this going to set him forward? Is this setting forward a series of shows, movies, media pieces that showcase Grogu by himself?
Right.
And then he'll eventually meet up with Din Djarin, like an old Din Djarin down the line. Or is he going to somehow be accepted into some kind of Mandalorian Creed club or something? Like, it opens up a lot of really interesting stories for Grogu. I don't anticipate that Din is going to be in this, you know, franchise for the next 10 years. I don't expect that to happen. But, you know, I do think that they're setting it up for Grogu to kind of carry on something in the Star Wars franchise. I feel like the character does carry that kind of weight. So I think that's really kind of what I'm seeing here. And I'm along for this ride and whatever they're kind of setting up for the future, because that's what it feels like. It's going to be something great. I feel like it's going to be great because I love this character. Yoda's my absolute favorite Star Wars character. And so to have this little guy give me keeping Yoda a secret, keeping Yoda a mystery, which is what makes Yoda great, but giving us Yoda style stories and adventures and cool things with this little guy, I'm like, yeah, dude, let's see it. I've been wanting to see this. It doesn't have to be Yoda. I'm just as attached to this guy now. So let me see it. Like, let me see where he goes. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and we'll see if this is a series finale of sorts for the Mandalorian story, like you were saying. The one thing with Mandalorian is that I don't think it's a secret at this point, but you know, Pedro Pascal does not play the character that often the whole time when the characters are on screen. He mostly provides the voice, and then he's on set when there are moments where he's demasked or, you know, whatever special scenario. Brandon Wayne, and then I unfortunately forget the other stuntman's name who plays him. You know, those guys have mostly taken up the mantle of playing the Mandalorian in full armor, doing, you know, a lot of the action sequences or whatever. They are incredible. So even if Din Djarin continues forward, it is not the biggest commitment for Pedro Pascal to have to come in once every couple of years to like be in some shots, do a little bit of voiceover. So I feel like for an actor of his, especially like where he is now in his career, this is kind of like best case scenario to be able to pop in and play a character that he only really has to physically embody every once in a while because he is masked most of the time. So that'll also be interesting to see if like what happens with him as a character in the greater Star Wars universe in the future. But
man.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, it looks fun, dude. I can't wait till he gets a lightsaber. I can't wait till Grogu gets a lightsaber and we see some craziness. So
I know we almost had that moment.
Good times.
We almost had that moment where he could have, but he didn't want it. So we'll see where he ends up going. Yeah. But excited to see this in 3D. Excited to probably see it again in Dolby 3D if they have it, and then IMAX 3D. Basically every version of 3D because why not?
It looks so good, dude.
It does.
You know what I love about it being in 3D? What I love about it being in 3D is that it's that extra little added oomph in the theater to be like, oh, this is different than Disney Plus at home. This is like I'm stepping in, like this is an extra level of immersion. I love that, dude.
Agreed.
I can't wait to see it.
Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. How are you feeling about this movie? What are you excited about seeing, and where do you think these characters are going to end up? Do you think this is the final chapter for them, or do you think that they will have a future in the Star Wars universe? Let us know. Check out everything else we're watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
That's why we are watching.